What's going on, everybody? LK here, back at it again with another video. And today we're going to talk a little bit more about team building. So we talked about points and mids, so today obviously anchors would be the way. So there's a few new dynamics in Season 3 about anchors, but overall I still kind of maintain the same thoughts I've had about teams throughout Season 2, where your anchor needs to do one of two things in order for them to be an actual good anchor. They either need to be really hard to hit, or they need to be really good at hitting the opponent. That's probably the most important thing. Really hard to hit being like characters like Super Saiyan Vegeta, you know, great Ki Blast, air DP, so you can't super dash at him liberally, so he can move around the screen pretty easily. Despite his mix-up not being so great alone, like he has problems hitting characters alone, kind of, without taking big risks. He is still very, very functional in the neutral and is very, very hard to catch. Even if you pin him down, he still has a DP you can use to dice roll them, on top of all the other defensive options you have in the game. So that's a really good example, and a classic example of a good anchor in this game. For Season 2, it was definitely this character probably ran the show, and it went to show people how important not being hit is actually, because his neutral is also really, really good. Main difference between him and Vegeta is that he has a beam instead of just Ki Blast only, but he has an equally good air Ki Blast, no DP of course, but he could float in the air, fire Ki Blast, run away, just play really patient until he gets his turn, and then his damage output is really high. So once he hits you, he just does a lot of damage, tries to run it back. It's kind of hard, but it can be done. The classic examples of characters that can hit you, Yamcha, of course, cross-up Wolfang Fist, we all know. Anyone who says they could block this, they really can't block it. I promise you they can't block it. I'll come and play with my Yamcha, and I'll show you how hard it is to defend him. He can definitely hit you, and we've seen it time and time again. Another classic one would be our good old boy 16, rest in peace, from Season 1. Command grab, of course, unseeable command grab. Before hard knockdown, that was kind of cheap, so I got to run mix-ups, but between the command grab, you have to guess poke or throw. If you guess wrong, you get hit. Very, very straightforward, I would say. But in Season 3, there's an additional dynamic that's added, which is Limit Break. And I want to talk about what I've seen versus like what I've tried, and probably what I think people will do long-term. So Limit Break, as you know, gets a damage buff that's pretty much equal to Sparking. It's 20%, and it stacks 10% with other damage buffs. And when you come in with Limit Break, you start with a bar. So this kind of opens up a few things, I would say. So, for example, one of the, at least when Season 3 dropped, the big hype was on Frieza for a few reasons. One, you get a bar, so if you have 2, you have Golden Frieza right away. If you have none, then you get 2 EX Blasts right away, 236H right away. That helps Frieza zoning a lot. Frieza is a character that, as we all know, is pretty hard to hit in neutral. He has a pretty good zoning game, Ki Blast, rocks, good aerials, the 236A in the air. He has a bunch of stuff to help control the screen. So now when he comes in with the extra bar, he comes in with tools no matter what, as opposed to if you decided to use him as an anchor in Season 2, there could be times where you were like, man, I wish I had Golden Frieza, but I only had 2 bars, and I have to survive for a little bit. Or, man, I wish I could do EX Blast, but I don't have a bar yet. Stuff like that. So now you come in with these tools right away. It kind of changes a couple of characters. It gives everyone access to Ki Blast into Vanish, which I think helps all the characters that are good at running away, like the ones I mentioned, as well as others. For the characters that do a lot of damage, helps them too, because they get access to the EX moves and stuff. And EX moves also cost half a bar now instead of 1 bar, so you get to use them more often. So now I feel like the spread is a little bit more open, but the concept is the same. What I've seen people do mostly online so far is save their sparking to have the limit break plus the sparking. I am not so sure this is a good idea, really. Of course, there's those games where like, oh, you just kind of get washed and you don't realize that you're dying so fast, or you make a bad decision so you take a lot of damage. That thing happens, of course. But I've been kind of thinking of Limit Break as a mini sparking recently. So the game gives you sparking, and then just in case you're losing really bad, you have another thing that helps you do more damage. And so with that in mind, I get why you want the sparking plus limit break. And there are examples like, again, like Frieza, Golden Frieza doesn't go away during sparking, which is like a little thing. But overall, you should still kind of be looking to pick anchors the same while still using sparking the same, I think. I've generally, in my matches, have still been protecting my team with my sparking. And then my anchor, which is Broly, Z Broly, he gets the limit break buff, and I think that's been working out pretty well. We still haven't had any like super big events, obviously, so we don't know like which one is prevalent from like a tournament perspective, but that's kind of just been what's on my mind for now. As far as anchors in the game, we have a few. Base Goku has been one that we've seen. He is pretty much like Yamcha. He's a weird one in that he kind of does both. He can like hit people and run away really well, which is a really strong thing. It's kind of rare. You can kind of say the same about Yamcha as well. His Ki Blast is really good, and they buffed his Gale Claws so that it actually anti-airs properly, especially Air's Air. So he's kind of harder to hit too, in addition to still having good offense. Of course, we still have SSJ Goku still in there, Vegeta still in there. Some people put Trunks as an anchor. I only think it's viable if you save Sparking, and I don't like saving Sparking for the end. So I don't usually have him there, but people always mention him as one. People in Season 2 really liked saying GT was an anchor, because he could definitely hit you if he gets to hit. I think now with the Spirit Bomb change, though, it is less prevalent, and he's kind of like a dedicated mid at this point. So I don't think you'll see Goku GT anchor so much anymore. Vegito actually a better anchor than people give him credit for, but he should be a point character. Gotenks as well, another character that actually is a pretty good anchor. He's pretty flexible. He can create his own plus frame, so he has chances to hit you, and he's really small and hard to catch. Teen Gohan, small, hard to catch, does a lot of damage, important thing. 18, so 18 actually has a command grab, so she can hit you. Her neutral's kind of hard, actually, though, and I think she needs assist support, but for those who want to try it, she's still an option. 16, a classic option. 21 is also a pretty classic option. I've seen her as anchor in Season 1 and 2, and she's like one of the most flexible characters in the game, honestly. You can play her in mostly any spot, and she does really well. Broly, we've seen him both. He'll play anchor Broly or mid Broly. I think he works with both. A little bit more recently, I've been seeing a couple people try out base Vegeta as anchor. So as a point, we all know he's like really good, but as an anchor, like late game, especially getting the extra bar and doing more damage, that means all the loops do more damage. He gets level 3 more often now. He doesn't need assist to mix up, so that's kind of a boon too for him. We'll see long term if this still is a thing, but it is a thing. He can definitely hit you. Super Broly as well. Even though his command grab is a little slower than other characters, it's still like pretty fast. You could probably get them, and it's kind of hard to punish his command grab on whiff, and he does a lot of damage. Cooler is actually very difficult to catch. We all know there's huge normals, air DP. He can move in and out of ranges really easily, so we're pretty familiar with this one. Jiren is kind of up in the air. I need to see more about him. Goku Black has been an anchor for a long time. People really like him as an anchor. Generally, like, tournament players don't like him as much as net players. I really understand why online players like him, though, overall. He can move a lot. He has, like, God Slicer and Dive Kick. Dive Kick can be made plus. His Ki Blast is okay. He's just, like, kind of hard to hit. He's not good at hitting you, per se. That's the main reason why people wouldn't pick him in tournaments before. Like, he's not really good at hitting you, and usually SSJ Goku does more damage, but for casual purposes, he's a great anchor. So I think this is pretty much all the core anchors in the game. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments, of course. Like and subscribe if you feel like it, and I'll see you next time. Peace out.